questions about family is going to be our topic tonight. So if you guys have questions about family that you don't feel comfortable everybody knowing your question, text me and then it will be anonymous. I won't say your name or anything like that. And then give like a little thumb emoji if you understand. Olivia and Ayla, Kyle.
Alright, I'm going to resend
Calc
this
Blue
out.
Girl. Megan, please explain, what is that called? Your username? Is that what it is? Or am I super old for thinking that?
Calc Blue Girl? That's funny.
I thought it was like California Blue, like a surfer or something. Don't you guys love technology? How is your school going with all of the different platforms? Good. Olivia missed that. Okay, I will wait until more of our viewers move over to this channel because I don't know really what happened, but I think you guys were waiting on another stream and then we started another one and then it sunk together. I don't know.
Yeah,
Is sunk
I'm
a
not
word?
sure.
Synced? I don't know.
It's sunk. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Technology. Tatum! Yeah! Hannah! Brandon, Everly, Angel. Ah! My favorite color, I named calculator blue in middle school after the color of my mom's calculator, and it was my words with friends username. That's awesome. A great tidbit about me is y'all are probably too young, but Adam, maybe you know, AOL used to have, what was it called? What is it called? Instant Messenger?
Instant Messenger? Yeah.
Instant Messenger, and so that's like what we would use instead of Snapchat when I was in middle school, and I had to create a username, and my username was, you remember it, babe?
Oh, B2B something.
No.
No, it was like, wasn't it Basketball Baby or something like that?
It was B-Ball Baby 1524 152. And my password was my middle school crush. I was super cool. So, Calc Blue Girl, all of us in this great, awesome, doesn't make sense now, but did at the time, username, unite. That's awesome. Lisa!
Gang's all here.
AIM!
Right.
Yeah!
AIM, that's what it was.
Yeah, all AIM.
AIM.
I spent so many nights on AIM.
There we go. See, we're getting our people back who we're going.
Man, that's awesome that you knew that. Yeah.
Anybody else having problems?
Yeah.
You got mail. I gave a sermon about that one time, the whole noise, and I played the modem sound. It was pretty hysterical. Made all the noises.
Okay. You got mail. Lisa remembers AOL. Yeah, okay, so now that we have more viewers, so I put my phone number in, if you scroll up just a little bit, it's right above Casey's iPhone, or Casey's phone. And so tonight the topic of all of the questions are going to be about family, whether that's siblings, or even if you have questions about family, like our family, we can answer those kind of questions too. If you just have like a random, I don't know, question about Nora or parenting or, I don't know. But then if you have more serious questions about like your family or parents or how to deal with a sibling, like an issue you're going through or something like that, text my phone your question, and then I won't give out your name, so it'll be anonymous. So hopefully you feel more comfortable instead of everybody reading your question. Does that make sense? And I think most people say yes because I asked for a thumbs up and you guys followed through, so thanks.
And if the question is a little more sensitive in nature, like about your one of your family members, kind of like Casey was saying, like a sibling or a parent, and you're just like, I don't know if I really want to ask this on the live stream because you don't want to offend your parent or anything, and even because I'm sure y'all's parents are great, but you just don't want to offend your parent or just cause any tension because you're at home so much, then you can text one of us directly, and we can hopefully give you advice and answer your question that way. So, because I love my mom and dad too, and I wouldn't, I know they'd be super upset if I was talking about them on a live stream in a bad way, and I just wouldn't do that. We speak the truth in love, and we do that directly to the person, right? We talk through it. We'll talk through it with them and talk to them.
And Nora, when she's older, she would never say anything bad about us.
Never, ever. That is true, Sammy. They did not know that dial-up noise. Hilarious. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to get started with 3 songs. And so if you are in your room or in your living room or somewhere, you can just get comfortable, space out, and just get into a posture of worship and singing and get your hearts and minds ready. Typically, I don't know if Olivia is in here. Oh yeah, Olivia is in here. She typically starts a Skype call, which you're more than welcome to Skype or Zoom each other during this time, but you don't have to. Just know that you're all linked together doing this, but it's pretty cool you guys do that.
And if you guys scroll all the way up, I think, right? The lyrics
all the way
are
up?
there?
They were, but they are in the link in the description, but I'll go ahead and copy them.
Okay.
Right here. Oops. Let me get here. And there are the lyrics right there in the chat. But they should be in the description on Worship Wednesday. You should have them there. So, oops. All right. Let's go.
blinded by darkness or lost out at sea. And even in death, you're always with me. And when I am fearful, I won't be afraid. Oh, Spirit, remind me your presence remains. We're blinded. We're blinded by darkness or lost out at sea. And even in death, you're always with me. And when I am fearful, I won't be afraid. Oh, Spirit, remind me your presence remains. Your love is alive. Your love is alive. Your love is beating inside of my heart and my soul and my mind. Your love is alive. Oh, your love is alive. Your love is leading me to the way, the truth, and the light. Your love is leading me into the way, the truth, and the life. Amen. In my mother's womb.
Whoops, that's not right.
Don't forget to do that at the K-pop.
I got it.
In my mother's womb, you formed me with your hands, known and loved by you. Before I took a breath, or when I doubted, Lord, remind me I'm wonderful made. You're an artist and the potter, the canvas and the clay. And you make all things make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you praise. The Lord bless you. The Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Amen. 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 And amen. 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 The Lord bless. The Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Amen. And amen. 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 And amen. 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 May his favor be upon you in 1,000 generations, in your family, in your children, and the children, and the children. May his favor be upon you in 1,000 generations, in your family, in your children, and the children, and the children.
May his presence go before you and behind you and beside you, all around you and within you. He is with you. He is with you in the morning, in the evening, in your coming, in your going, in your weeping and rejoicing. He is for you.
Man, that song's good.
That was a request. I think the first
Yeah,
time we did
I believe
this,
so.
I think it was Olivia. Was it Olivia that said she liked this song?
Maybe. I know Angel.
I don't remember.
Angel Chapman loves this song, but a lot of us do.
Well, your questions are pouring in. I want to show you guys my cute little mug because I love it. I'm drinking tea. Can you guys see it? Probably. So the Esmeralda Inn is actually a really special place in North Carolina that me and Phil have ventured probably, two times?
Twice, yeah.
2 times too?
Yeah.
We almost went again this year, but coronavirus. And one day we want to take Nora there because it's this really cute little cabin up in Chimney Rock, North Carolina. And it's kind of just a special place. So we got a mug, and I like drinking out of it because it's super cute. And it reminds me of good times.
We went when it was really cold, and there's a snowstorm. So
Yeah.
luckily we got out before we got hit by
Oh,
said
Anna was
snowstorm.
super pregnant.
You were, and we thought we would Uber everywhere, but Chimney Rock is quite a small town, and there's one Uber in the whole town, and that individual just so happened to be on vacation.
Yeah.
So my super pregnant wife and I walked everywhere.
It was like a mile to the little town,
Yeah.
and so we were like on the side of this mountain
It was wild.
and like just bundled up, and we were just kind of like trying our best to get to the little coffee shop, and we made it, and we're here, and Nora's fine. So
We are.
Yeah.
So tonight we're talking about family. Awesome. I
that
think
Nolan?
no. I think
I think
I think that's Nolan. Yeah. No. Is Nolan. Heck yeah, dude. So
Chimney
good.
Rock is awesome.
It's
Emma,
really
you've
awesome.
been there too.
Beautiful.
Man, it's a destination.
But we're gonna get started with our discussion in family. So you guys fire away, start asking any of the questions, and we'll do our best to answer and rustle
I'll
those.
also type
with
my
those
phone
with
number
you guys as well.
again.
Sure.
Ooh.
And keep in mind too, like we'll be talking about our own family and your family and kind of how we are part of a larger family and God's family. But anyway, fire away. Blessing a bop. Yes.
bop.
Yes.
Angel, I don't know if that's a bop, but it's a really good song. Isn't a bop like what you bang your head to?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know what the kids say, I don't know if I consider it a bop.
I don't know. Anywho.
It's I don't know, what would you call like a worship song where you're just like, yes, I don't know.
I don't know, a good song.
It's a sleeper maybe? I'm not sure. I don't know.
A sleeper? That doesn't make any sense. That would put you to sleep.
Don't sleep on it.
Speaking of sleep, the Peace album by Bethel, you guys, you have to check it out.
Really, really good.
So good. It's they have a version of Reckless Love on there. I'm trying to be hip with the kids. There's a version of Reckless Love on there, and it starts off with a string intro, and it is so beautiful. So beautiful. A jam. Sarah, it's a jam. I don't know if I agree with that.
It's a movement.
A bop
It's,
is something that comes
It's
on
an
and you're just like,
awakening.
yes.
No, it's not an awakening.
Okay, well, if that's the definition, Olivia, of a
We'll roll
bop,
with
then
it.
yes, it's a bop.
We'll roll with it.
Yeah. Okay, so segue into family discussion. So is there any bop that your family usually listens to or like has to listen to when you're on a road trip?
Ooh.
That's a pretty good question.
It's a really good question.
Yeah. So as you guys start answering and texting questions, answer that for your family growing up.
So my dad really liked classic rock, but he loved Grand Funk Railroad. So we would listen to Grand Funk Railroad I don't know if we would listen to the Beatles in the car or not, but I do remember a lot of Grand Funk, a lot of Stephen Curtis Chapman on cassette tape, and some other things as well. I can't quite remember. But we listened to a lot of like audiobooks, like children audiobooks. It had to have like a good narrator. If it didn't quite work. But we listened to a lot of those. The Odyssey, something along those lines, I think is what we listened to in road trip. What about you, babe?
I thought that we would do something fun and call your brother on FaceTime
Oh, sweet.
as we're doing this. And see, so what did you say? We'll see if it gets it right.
I said Grand Funk Railroad, the Odyssey.
The Odyssey. Okay.
You got it?
Yeah, I'm going to call him. Okay, we're calling Marshall, guys. Who knows Marshall?
Probably some of you guys do.
I wonder if we can, I wonder if he'll answer.
Come on.
My camera is very dirty. He's not going to answer you guys.
By putting the kids down. All
Unavailable.
right. Try the other sibling.
Beach Boys. Who knew? Holly was a Beach Boy fan.
Try and call my sister. See if she'll pick up. Mamma Mia. Every single road trip. That's good.
Wait, Mamma Mia, like the Broadway Mamma Mia, the first one, or the new Mamma Mia? And Adam and Holly.
Oh.
What Beach Boy song?
There we go.
Okay,
we're
we.
at a friend's house.
Oh, hey. Well, we're live on YouTube right now, and I had a question because I need you to back me up. Okay.
Okay.
Are you ready? My brother
Yeah.
Marshall didn't answer. So, do you remember growing up when we would take road trips, what we would listen to in the car? Guaranteed.
Z88.3.
Okay.
Oh no!
No, Felicia. When we were when we leave the state.
When we were kids?
Yes. Think like through Texas up to Nebraska. You may not remember. You may be too young. You may have been too young.
Third day? What? I don't know.
No.
What is it?
Fail.
Strike it out. Well, what do you remember about our family road trips?
About our family road trips?
The ones most of the ones we took were to St. Pete, right? But
Yeah. That's all I remember. You get mad at me because I'd listen to Plus One and I'd sing the songs, but I didn't know the words.
yep, that is a true statement. I would get frustrated with you when you sang songs that you didn't know the words to. This is a true statement.
What's the answer?
My answer was we listened to a lot of Grand Funk Railroad, Stephen Curtis Chapman, a lot of Stephen Curtis Chapman, and then we listened to audiobook on tape.
Oh, I don't remember that. Oh, yes, I do.
Yeah, I know.
Both soundtracks.
Adventures.
Yeah.
Odyssey. What was that?
Adventures in Odyssey. Yep. Everybody say hey to Felicia. Hey.
Hey, she got it right.
Good job, Felicia. Thank you for answering this phone call.
Okay.
Have fun. Love you.
Bye. Love you.
Bye.
Okay, so Olivia makes such a good point. They totally did take an RV trip last summer, but then I read that there was no
Oh.
service or an aux cord. That's terrible.
Oh, brutal. Actually, it's not brutal. That's actually pretty fun, I think.
So, Sammy, you guys literally had no music the whole way? What kind of a road trip is that?
That's brutal, man. That is brutal. All right. I'm going to call my brother one more time and see if he
Johnny
answers.
No, he already got it right. We have to ask another question. Oh, no.
He didn't get it right. He didn't answer.
We have to ask another
Okay.
question.
All right.
Okay, so someone texted me and said they listen to Rock and the Rabbi. Do you know this band? And Toby Mac and Casting Crowns. I listened to Casting Crowns and Toby Mac when I was in high school a little bit.
Little do scoop. I don't know who that is. Adam, sorry.
Oh no.
Dive. Yes, Olivia. But we were before that. We were The Great Adventure.
Yes, no, I
That's
was
what we
Dive.
were. She was. But we were listening to
Yes.
The Great Adventure.
Dive.
your horses.
Oh no.
It's-
We
got a trip. Or Dance with the Dinosaur. That's another good one. I'm sorry.
You didn't. He did. Unfortunately, he did. Dive was my brother and I's favorite Stephen Curtis Chapman song, and my mom was obsessed with Stephen Curtis Chapman. She loved. We went to a concert several times actually, but yeah, love that song. I'm diving in, I'm going deep, and on my head I wanna be. caught
Brandon
in the
said
rush,
Seal. You
lost
guys
in
listen
the
to
flow.
Seal? Brandon, that's awesome.
I get around and fun. Those are good ones, Holly.
POG. You gotta mean POD, right, Bobby?
See, Brandon listened to Seal.
I think that Brandon, if you listen to Seal, that's gotta be your mom. There's no way that's your dad.
Oh no!
No way. If it is, props to your dad. But I can't picture your dad
Sarah.
listening to Seal.
Apparently, Sarah's the only Merino that liked the road trip. That is a sad day.
Harry Jones.
Pink Floyd. That's pretty good. Cats in the Cradle. That's a really, really good road trip song. Really good.
Pink Floyd nonstop.
Yeah.
POD.
Okay. So we have a couple questions coming in, so keep them coming. The first one is just how is Nora doing, and I think someone else asked this above, but I don't. We've gone too far down since the hospital. So she is fine. She's on seizure medication that we give to her every morning and every night. And she does really well with it. It makes her. It originally made her really drowsy, but she's pretty cool with it now. Her last seizure was what, in February?
End of February, yeah.
End of February, we did a follow-up with her neurologist, and basically he said, we don't know why this is happening. We can't really diagnose her with epilepsy. So in another year, you'll have to come back to the hospital and do all of the EEG and all that stuff when she's 2. So that's kind of where we're at. We have no questions answered, which is really frustrating as parents. But other than that, she's just a super smart, super silly kid and healthy in every other way. We haven't taken her back to the doctor for her 1 month appointment or anything like that because because of coronavirus, and pretty much all of the doctor's appointments at our pediatrician are now online. But for the most part, she's doing great. She's walking now and talking. She's really walking
Everywhere.
almost to a run.
Literally. She's gonna be running here before this whole thing's over, man.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Tarzan soundtrack, well done, Angel.
I love the Tarzan soundtrack. It's super great. I love it.
Super good. Matthew Wilder, Never Gonna Break My Stride. I don't think I know that. The Beatles, nice, Lisa. And of course, Brandon. Yeah, that would be your mom. Baby. Good song. I don't know the words. Let's Kiss by a Rose.
Okay, so this is a question, and it says, my parents have faith, but they don't understand my call to missions. They don't think it's practical. What should I do to be respectful, but also fulfill the call God has put on my heart? Wow, such a good question. So it's really hard when you are establishing your independence as a teen and you're really trying to discern what God wants to do with your life, and where you're going to go to school and where you're going to major in and what your career is going to be. And there's so much pressure, with your faith aside, there's so much just pressure put on young people now that you should have everything planned out for the rest of your life while you're a senior in high school. And it's really, really difficult because you're still trying to figure out what you even like. So faith aside, that just is a really hard place to be in, and how to communicate that to your parents, because being parents now, oh yeah, the Millers, shout out to Drew and Ava if you're listening. Yeah, and Reed and Kristen and
Willa.
Yeah.
Did
Anyway,
you finish your response? Sorry.
I did not finish my response.
Keep going.
Sorry. What was I saying? Oh, it's really hard. You guys are filled with a lot of pressure. So, and as now we're parents, we're looking at Nora, and whether we think about it or not, we have expectations about what she's going to be like, and we hope that we don't put that on her, but you just do. You do as parents. And so having an open communication and trying to be as respectful as possible in that communication. And I'm going to teach you guys a skill that will change your communication in your family. It's just called I feel statements. And so when you're having a conflict maybe with your parents, whether it's about career or missions or whatever that may be, just say something like, I feel blank when you tell me that missions isn't good enough, or I feel blank when you want me to do something else and not pursue what God is calling me to. And so at least, even if they're not fully understanding, they're gonna get a sense of the emotion behind what you're trying to get across, which may kind of level the playing field. And it's not blameful language. So even if your parents do come to you with that blame language, you can kind of be more at peace and kind of level out, and almost like de-escalate the conversation, if that makes sense. But that's really hard. However, I don't know who this is, or how old you are, but once you're an adult, you have free reign, man. I know your parents probably will have financial help, but there's always a choice. And so when you graduate from high school, you have a choice where you go to school. You have a choice what your career is going to be. It's going to be really hard conversation with parents if they don't agree. But that's kind of it. I mean, when you're an adult, you have a choice.
I would add a little bit that, I think having a conversation about those things earlier on will help, rather than just dropping it on them the very last second, like, all right, I'm moving to New Zealand and that's where I'm going to school and I'm 18 and, you can't do anything about it, Mom, Dad. I wouldn't go that drastic, but, you want to kind of talk those plans through with them leading up to it so that you can work on it together. And at the end of the day, when you get old enough to make, your own decisions as an adult, when you're in college, and you can work through those things with your parents, because your parents love you ultimately, and they're just genuinely trying to do what's best for you, and help you with those decisions. So, it's kind of the heart behind that. Also, I need to point out that my brother responded, thank you, Marshall. He responded, and his response was Grand Funk Railroad and Adventures in Odyssey as kids. And I sent him back, nailed it. An Andy little gif right there from The Office. Because I knew he would. I think my sister was way too young. I really think she was like 2 or 3 when we were doing road trips in Texas. We'd go up to Nebraska, over to Arkansas, like all sorts of stuff that was a little bit closer. Mm-hmm. But anyway, do you have any more questions?
Yeah. So another question is, how do you handle conflicts with siblings that happen all of the time?
Ooh.
So it's really good.
That is a really good one. You guys hear from me and from the rest of our staff all the time. We talk about speaking the truth in love, and if you have a conflict, the best way to handle a conflict is to talk to the person directly and not behind their back. I know it's a lot harder when it comes to siblings, but I think like what Casey just mentioned, it's helpful to say, I feel blank when you do blank, or say blank. And if you keep your cool, if you're yelling and screaming at them, I don't think that's going to be helpful, and it's not going to diffuse the situation. And you don't want to necessarily just say, okay, yeah, that's fine, just to have peace. Like, you want to genuinely work through it. Like, no, I still feel this way and that's hard, that's tough. And your sibling may not be there and be willing to at the same time. But I remember me and my sister fought all the time when I was in probably high school, all the way even into college. She's 8 years younger than me. Man, I would just get really frustrated with her for no reason, and it was always shouting matches. Me and my brother argued quite a bit. I think when he was in middle school and I was in high school, but it wasn't nearly the same. And usually when we would argue, it was over things like you ate all my s'mores Pop-Tarts, and it was like a race to see who could get those first.
Oh.
I know, we loved those things. It was ridiculous. My sister would always take the bathroom, and that would be really hard because all three of us would share one bathroom. And that was not fun at all. And it would just amplify. But the issue wasn't the bathroom. It was always something else. But there was a point when I reached college and I was like, you know what? I'm really tired of arguing. I'm really tired of fighting all the time. And so I'm going to try to work this out with her. And so I did. I sat down with her and was like, you're frustrating me. Here's why you're frustrating me. And I kept a calm voice. I was like, you're frustrating me. I was like, listen, you're really frustrating me, but it's keeping a distance between us. And I want to have a relationship with you because I love you, because you're my sister. You know, I would die for you. That's what it means when I love you. And would do anything for you. And so we worked through all that sorts of stuff. And it brought us a whole lot closer. And I don't know if you have anything to add.
Yeah, the only thing I would add is if it's quite frequent that you guys are fighting you said all the time, whoever this is, try to recognize best the pattern that's happening, because if it's happening frequently, there's probably a trigger or something that activates you and causes you or the sibling to react. And so if you can identify that and talk about that using the I feel statements, your conflict is going to really de-escalate to where you can have an actual conversation about it, whatever, it is. So that's the only thing I would say is try to recognize the pattern that's happening so you can really repair with each other instead of things just piling on top of each other every single time you guys get triggered. So this is a question for Phil. Fender or Gibson?
Oh, Fender, all the way. Easy.
Mine's a Gibson.
I know, but it's an acoustic, so
It's not my question, but I answered it anyway. The other question is, my parents are having problems with me starting to go to a Protestant church. Any advice? So I'm assuming maybe another religion or Catholic or...
Catholic, Episcopalian, something along those lines.
Yeah. Is it Episcopalian? Not
well,
Protestant?
maybe not. I guess Episcopalian is. Anglican would be more not Protestant. Anglican would
I
be.
think Anglican is. Oh, I don't know.
think so.
There are too many, you guys. There's so many denominations.
But I think I know this is where it gets kind of dicey. You have to talk to your parents about that and ask, like, why is it hard for you that I go to like a different youth group than our church if I'm experiencing God in the same way? And they might say something like, well, as a family we want to be part of a particular church together as a family, and your response might be, well, I just don't feel like I connect at this youth group, or I am really meeting God in the same way or experiencing God in the same way at this youth group. I think it's important to voice those things, but I will say at the end of the day, like when you live under your parents' roof, and they kind of have the final say on that stuff. And I know that seems kind of rough, but I would say just talk it through with them. And if they, have any questions for me or any of the other staff, because they're just some things that they're uncertain about, man, I would be more than happy to offer some clarity. Because whether you're Catholic or Anglican or whatever, you're still worshiping Jesus. It's just a different form and a different style of worship and a different preference. So I would say that.
Yeah, and even if it's another religion, just love, as Jesus loved. Just extend more compassion and more love to your parents, because even Jesus said, like, people, the world, they will know that we are disciples, we're followers of Jesus because we love. And so I think that can even be with parents, with siblings, with your dog or cat, if you even want to go that far. Even, you know, creation, you know, how you handle the earth and how you give back to the earth and all of creation. So just love. And that sounds really, really simple, but I think the most simple things can be so hard. Like, a lot of what we've been talking about is just communication. So talking and being vulnerable and trying to pursue intimacy versus just kind of hiding away and keeping secrets and not really telling the other person what you're really feeling can really just build and build and build into this conflict. And I mean, this is an extreme example, but like, think about Cain and Abel. They really had all of this stuff just pent up that just kept piling on top of each other, and it really escalated. And so really simple things like communication, love, using emotions. And emotions are God-given. He designed us to have them, and so they're good, and they are they can be used for God's glory. And so just think about the simple things. They're a lot easier said than done. I have another question here. How can I try to respectfully tell my military father that I'm bothered by my word is the final, and if not, it's disrespectful, in his I am holier than thou attitude? If you know... Oh, yeah. I don't. So... Yeah, that's a really good one. You want to take that one?
I gotta think about that one a second, but I can't. If you want to go on to the next one, I can think about it.
Well, you just took my phone.
Sorry.
Yeah, so you think about that one. The next question is, do you have any...
Sorry.
Do you have any ideas of ways to serve your family, even when it is hard? Oh man, yeah. Y'all, just help around the house. That is, again, super simple, but me being a mom and just my kid being as small as she is, she still creates a lot of messes and pulls toys and books and wants to climb on top of the dishwasher for some reason and splatter spaghetti sauce all over the floor the day that I decide to clean them. And so keeping just a clean house is hard. And so little ways like that, where you not having your parent ask you to do things, but just say, hey mom, I'm recognizing that the trash is getting full. Do you want me to take that out for you? Or, hey mom, I'll do the dishes tonight. Or, hey dad, I was thinking of washing the cars. Is that cool? Or, hey dad, why don't I strip the bed and throw in a load of laundry with the sheets or whatever in the house? You know, something. And even just do it. You don't even have to say to your parents that you're doing it. Could be really helpful. And I think that's just such a simple way. But I would love for Nora to do that. She just can't do that yet. So. But yeah, cleaning, doing things proactive. If you recognize that your parents are really stressed out, especially with homeschooling and trying to help you guys keep on with your assignments and stuff like that, and you recognize that they're trying to help you guys keep, you know, the house clean and cook and all of that, and try to work, like a lot of parents, like we're both working from home, and so they're probably really stressed out, and maybe just leaving a post-it note on their computer so they find it the next morning with a scripture verse or a prayer, or just say like, hey, I love you, I'm so glad that I was made to be your daughter or son. Or like my mom and I don't know if my mom's watching, but my mom and I, we used to have this really cute spiral journal. I don't know where it is. I really want to find it. But I think it was in high school, and my mom's an artist, so her journal entries were so beautiful. But I would take the journal and I would draw things out or write a poem or something, and then I would leave it somewhere. Like, so she was in seminary, she would travel back and forth to Dallas, and we lived in Houston. and I would slip it in her bag, and so she would find it when she was there, and then she would do, a poem or write me a letter or something like that, and then I would take it. So we just kind of started this back and forth of loving each other just in the small moments, and we couldn't physically be together a lot because I was in school and I had dance and my mom had seminary, but we kept intimacy in our relationship because we cared and we chose to do that. So I think those are some really great ways. And be creative. If you guys have any other ideas about how to love your parents or just your siblings in general, shoot it in the comments. Adam says chores are awesome, so he seconds that. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Picking up around the house is really great. Ready
Way to go,
answer the
Matt.
next one?
I think I'm going to hold off on that one.
Okay.
I think it would just be more of a private conversation with that individual.
Okay.
So
We will contact that person. How can I help encourage a friend that experiences an emotionally abusive home life? That's a really, really good one. So first of all, recognize that it's really beautiful that you have compassion for your friend and you want to help. Second of all, recognizing that you are not responsible for this other friend or what happens to this friend, that you can help, and that's really lovely and awesome. But that you're not responsible for what happens to this person, and that is such a hard lesson to learn. But again, just love them. If they need somebody that can just be a sounding board, and they need someone to listen to them and just vent, that's great. If they legitimately need a shoulder to cry on, just be that person. If they need to get their mind off of it, plan like a virtual game night right now, something like that. So communicate and love them. Ask them what they need. Don't just assume, because that can get kind of hairy. So communicate and love, and just ask them what they need, I think is the best way to go. Anything to add?
I did not hear the question because I was texting the individual. I'm so
Rude.
sorry. We can move on to the next one. I'm sure you did great.
Oh, this is a good one, you guys. What do you do when you get frustrated with Nora? Well, you guys, we never get frustrated. She's a perfect angel, and she never fusses once.
That is false. That is absolutely false. If we're together, typically we try to, like, so if Casey is with her a little bit more, and I'm like doing the dishes or something, and Nora's playing with her, and she's just getting really, really frustrated no matter what you do. Typically she really likes to grab our phones. Like, that's the thing she wants to do, because she thinks that someone is going to FaceTime her and talk to her. Like, that's what she thinks the phone is for, that she can talk to her grandparents or her uncles and aunts. And so typically we try and switch. And so I will try to diffuse, and just try to either calm her down because it's a different face, or vice versa. It just all depends. Tonight she would not go to sleep, and it was really frustrating. But she just kind of needs warmth and comfort. We haven't gotten to the point yet where it's, she can talk back to us. We haven't gotten there yet.
She's in a phase where she screeches now. So that's really fun.
It's not.
She's definitely finding her voice.
We do kind of what's called positive parenting. So we don't say no to her in a really mean way. We just try to say, Nora, no thank you. And then we explain why she shouldn't be doing that thing. Like, she likes to take all of her food, and when she starts eating it, all of a sudden she will just scatter it all over the floor. And that's hard for me, because I really hate wasting food. And so when she's just like throwing it all over the ground and she's not eating enough, I'm just like, Really challenging. Really challenging.
I usually, if she's getting, I hate using the word fussy, but if she is doing her kind of screeching sound, I'll kind of put my finger on my nose and I say, "Look at Mama," and I make sure that she has eye contact with me, and to the best of my ability, I try to explain to her what's going on or why she can't throw the food on the floor or something like that. So I'll say like, "Look at Mama, we can't." Food goes in our mouth, not on the floor, because if it goes on the floor, Joey might eat it and get sick. And so we're already teaching her to understand what is happening. So things aren't just happening to her or happening around her. She is a human being, even though she's small and tiny. She's a human being that has feelings, thoughts, emotions, all of that stuff that is an active player in our lives and is not just an inanimate object that's there. So we try to explain to her as much as we can what is happening. And I think eye contact is really, really good. So I always, point to my nose and make sure that she's really, really looking at me to refocus her. And I think another big thing is if we ever like take a toy or take something that she's not supposed to have in her mouth, we try to give her something in replacement, or we try never to just like if she's running towards something, just yank her, up and pick her up. We try to say like, okay, Mommy's gonna pick you up now, so she knows what's happening in or around her body, so she is aware at least of what's going on. Because that's had to have been a big thing with being in and out of the hospital and people picking at her and prodding with IVs and all sorts of stuff. So we do our best, and that's kind of what we do.
Try.
Yeah.
We try.
Yeah.
What else you got?
That's it. Those are all. Oh no, just kidding.
You gotta turn your notifications back on.
Dang it. You guys, I did an Instagram live thing a couple days ago, and I turned all of my notifications off on my phone, and I wasn't getting like any calls or FaceTimes or text messages. And I realized like that night that I had done that, and I had like 60. It was terrible. Okay. How can you have an overall better relationship with your parents, specifically when you disagree on a lot in life? Really good. Here you go. I'm talking a lot.
No, it's good. I think we both are. I would say that even if you disagree a lot on things, you have to find the common ground in the things that you agree on while you live in the house. And I know that sounds like really crazy. She's like, well, what if all we agree on is waffles? I can't talk about waffles all the time. That's true. But your parents love you, and they may disagree with like either your political views or your life choices or things like. They love you, and they're trying to genuinely do their absolute best for you. They are. They are human like you are, and you came from them. You got to remember that. And so maybe the things that annoy you about them also annoy them about you, because they are the best. You are the best of them and the worst of them, in some ways. We all are. But you have to kind of work through those things and focus on what you do agree on. I'm sorry. And then when you graduate, I recommend this to everybody. I recommend moving out. Because sometimes that distance and the moving out, and not everybody's scenario is like this, it kind of eliminates all those things you disagree on, and you've just been in the house probably a lot longer than you would like to be, and maybe your parents would like you to be. And you're able to kind of...
That's not true.
Sometimes. Not all the time. Not everybody's like that.
You're going to fall apart when Nora goes to college.
I really am.
Yeah.
I really am. But... yeah. Anyway, so
you started thinking about it, didn't you?
I did, but also I just thought it'd be really nice just to have you and me time back whenever. Yeah.
He kind of likes me, guys.
I do, but it would be good to just kind of get out on your own, and you to kind of grow up and have life choices, and maybe some of the things you were disagreeing on, maybe you start agreeing on. You're like, man, Mom and Dad, you were right. Life out there is a lot harder than I thought. Or, man, Mom and Dad, you were right. Find the common ground that you can, and do your best to focus on that, and then work through those disagreements, because we've said this a lot, and I really think Holly Ford was the one to coin this, but disagreements don't have to create distance, especially in your family. Me and my family don't agree on everything. I know Casey and her family don't agree on everything, but we try to do our best to work through those things that you do disagree on. It's not like, it shouldn't be like a thing with eggshells that you walk around. It should be something that you should feel comfortable sharing because you still love your family.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add?
No, I think that was great.
Okay.
So Adam actually texted me and he said it was okay that I shared this, that it was him. So he said, and I totally agree with this. As a parent of adult children and having gone through the teen years, one of the biggest things I would want the students to know is that we make a lot of mistakes. We are not always right, and as we have to give grace to our kids, parents need grace from their kids. You said it earlier, but communication with parents is key. As teens finding their way in life, they tend to push parents aside, which is normal, but communication also goes to the side. I totally agree with that, and just recognizing that it's hard when you're a teen. Cause I remember when I was a teen, it was hard to conceptualize my parents as having like their own lives until I got into college. I was like, oh, your life doesn't revolve around me. But recognizing that your parents are living, like having stressful conversations at work and trying to develop friendships and work on their marriage and be good parents and find new recipes and have hobbies, and they have their own lives that they're trying to work with too. And so they're gonna have bad days, you're gonna have bad days, and y'all are all human. Families are just a bunch of humans. And so I think it's really, really awesome, Adam, that you recognize that not kids don't what am I trying to say? Kids aren't the only ones that need grace. The parents need grace as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I made the mistake when I was in high school and middle school. Whenever I would go somewhere and hang out with my friends, which was a lot, their biggest thing was communicate with me. Call me, let me know when you get there. Call me when you're ready to leave, like a little bit before, so I can come and get you. Or I would give them a specific time. Texting wasn't a thing, just so you know. Like, texting was not a thing. So I had to physically pick up the phone and call. I know, it's crazy that I had to do that. But that was the biggest thing. And then I didn't do that often, and I got in a lot of trouble for it. And then I would either get grounded or there would just be this tension between me and my family. And then I wouldn't work through that. And I just kept going, oh, why do you want me to stay at home and hang out with you? Oh, why do you want me to do this? Well, because guys, your parents love you and they genuinely want to be with you and hang out with you. And I know that seems like super lame when your friends are so cool, but man, at the end of the day, like when you get older, you're going to spend more time with your family than you spent with anyone else in this whole world. And that seems scary, and I know families can be...
Not all the time.
Not all the time, but like to that point, like by the time you're 16, 17? Okay, well, you spend a lot of time with your family. Let's put it that way.
There are lots of different families.
There are a lot of different family dynamics. I might be rambling a little bit. And so, I know not every family is the same, and not every family has a great dynamic, and we recognize that, but still, communication with your parents and helping them out and communicating with them and communicating your feelings in the best way that you can will be helpful in y'all's relationship in the long run.
Do you think we've said communication enough? Can you get the hint?
That's the key to all family problems. We solved it.
No. Communicate, and I mean, love is so simple, but I think a lot of people don't really know what that means. So, okay, we're kind of over time, so we'll give maybe 2 more minutes if you guys have any other questions. We don't have any coming in right now, and then we'll wrap up. But do you have a silly question? Let's do a silly family question.
A silly family question. Oh, man.
Oh, how about favorite family tradition?
Okay, that's a good one.
And it can be like any holiday tradition or like a road trip tradition, something like that. and just answer in the comments. And we'll end there. Unless we get another question.
I know it's like a little behind. So it's all right.
What was the family, we talked about a tradition not too long ago. What was it? Was it Easter?
Maybe.
Was it? You came up with it. What was it? It was like not, it was last week. I don't think it was Easter. What was it?
I don't remember.
I can't remember, but it was really good. I remember liking it.
Oh, Holly, the
Should've written
Christmas
it down.
pickle competition. That is
AKA
hilarious.
War.
It is, man. Holly, how many times have you won? That's what I want to know. The license plate game. That's a good one, Adam. That is a really good one. Now I have to remember that tradition.
Gamma Camp? Do you know what that is?
I don't know what Gamma Camp is.
I know like Delta Gamma is like a sorority, so maybe it's like a
Oh,
Greek thing? I don't know.
I have no idea. No idea.
Solved every problem ever.
We try,
Oh,
Lisa. We try.
You think too highly of us.
We try. All but 2 years since I was 5. Oh, man.
Champ.
Goodness.
But Holly, you guys didn't do it this year, right? Because weren't your parents in the apartment? No way. Is
Food
that for
fight?
real?
That
An Easter food fight?
to the death?
Can we do that at Epic? Because that sounds awesome.
Oh, Chick-fil-A for breakfast. That's a good one.
Who's on board for... Holly's going to get so mad at me. Who's on board for an epic food fight whenever coronavirus blows over?
We've already
That'd
done
be
that. Why,
so
why are you
awesome.
doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me?
This is not Epic's idea. This is someone who they purposely did not hire. Getting Chick-fil-A for breakfast. Yeah. What do you get at Chick-fil-A for breakfast? We like their burritos. Super good. Chicken burritos.
I love their burritos. But they took away my favorite because it had peppers and onions in it, and then they replaced it with like hash browns and other stuff. Man. Not my fave. Oh, did we get one final question?
We didn't. Gamma Camp is when cousins and families go to grandparents for a few weeks in the summer. Oh, like grandparents. That's cute. That's awesome. I love that. I want to do grandma camp. That's so cute.
That is pretty cool.
Mom and Dad, if you're still watching, which you're probably not, but if you are, we should do that with Nora and the girls.
I'm right there with you, Holly. Food fight needs to get lots of votes before it's a yes. Oh, and you guys didn't do it this year, but your mom decided to do a Christmas pickle scavenger hunt around the neighborhood in the summer. Oh, Laura, keeping things interesting, keeping it fun.
Wait, Holly, did you win? The
No.
Christmas
It's
pickle
this summer.
scavenger?
It's happening this summer.
Oh,
So
this
basically,
summer.
your mom was trying to let someone else win. Is what's happening because she can't handle it. She can't handle that you win too many times. That is funny, man. That is gonna drive me crazy that I can't remember the tradition that I came up with.
I know, it was really
It
good
was a
too.
really good one. Was it an Easter tradition?
I don't think it was Easter. I really don't.
Was it Christmas? Was it her birthday?
I can't remember. We should have written it down.
It's over.
Here's another one, Lisa. To solve your productivity problems, brain dump. Write it down so you don't remember. I mean, so you do remember.
Brain dump everything, so you never remember.
So you never
Single
remember
thing.
anything. No, so you do remember. I vote yes. I will help clean up. Promise. Hey.
Yeah, Thad, you started
Y'all,
something.
I'm gonna
bud.
I'm gonna start a petition. The Casey Coleman food fight.
She can run it and she can help clean it up. Holly and I will
Oh
stay
no.
inside. Oh, come on, Scott. You created a poll.
Yes.
Doesn't
Look
count.
what I've started, you guys. Should I tell them about my youth group food fight?
Youth group fish? You guys had they had a fish at their youth group. Yes.
So
go
we
ahead.
had a food fight when I was in youth group, and someone brought like a whole fish that they like got from the the butcher store. I'm not saying that you guys should do that because it honestly smelled so disgusting. It was so gross. But the spaghetti was fun to roll around in. I wonder if they'll add that to like spas one day. Spaghetti bath? I don't know. But yeah. What if it's like an all sweet food fight? So like you didn't mix like ketchup and marshmallow because that just is real gross, you know?
Ketchup would be one of the worst thing. If there was mayonnaise, oh god, if there was olives, I would lose it. I absolutely hate olives. Hate them. Oh, woof.
I'm gonna get a big jar of olives at Costco and dump them on your head.
That would just be the worst.
No, I'm kidding. I won't do that. I like you too much.
I would throw up immediately.
No.
Absolutely. Well, we've gone way over, guys. Way over.
'Cause we're talking about families. We should create a jingle for Worship Wednesdays.
Do I know a jingle?
Yeah.
I guess we could. That'd be pretty fun. I'd be all for it.
Worship Wednesdays with Phil and Casey starts at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
That was very lame. Okay. To chocolate syrup slip and slide. Holly's on board. Yeah.
Chocolate syrup slip inside. That could work, but would it actually work? I could just not see it working because you just don't get as much traction. Can we come back for the college for? I bet you anything, Lisa.
Senior night.
I bet you anything, Lisa. You could find a food fight on campus. I guarantee you, because that's what college is for. You study super intense things during the day, and then at nighttime you just jump on a giant slip and slide and have a food fight. That's just the nature of college.
I'm totally on board for the food fight, but I think it should be all sweet things. I like the chocolate syrup slip inside. That's kind of a tongue twister. Anyway. Well, is that a wrap?
I think so. This was fun, guys. This was really fun.
Super fun.
We don't have a theme for next week.
Maybe we'll come up with something.
But we will come up with something.
Unless you guys direct message on Instagram or text one of us what you guys want to talk about.
Yep. And then we can figure out what